Welcome to BRR Media. Today I'm joined by Alex Mann, Senior Director at Clinical Sciences, and Andrew Catchpole, Chief Scientific Officer at Open Orphan. It's great to have you both with us.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Now, Alex, yesterday you announced a new contract with a big pharma client, which follows a recently announced virus manufacturer contract with the same client, an end-to-end human challenge service from hVIVO. Can you tell us more about this?
Sure, yes. We were very excited to sign this contract because, as you mentioned, it is an extension of the previous manufacturing of a flu virus. And so what this contract is now, it's £14.7 million contract to extend that into 2 clinical studies, which are firstly to characterize the virus. So to look at what dose of virus produces a nice infection and also reproducible disease, and therefore which dose to take forward into the vaccine study, which follows, and which is a large vaccine study.
And Andrew, can you also outline hVIVO's expertise in virus manufacture?
Yes, sure. So hVIVO has a long experience in doing virus manufacture. Of course, as a specialist CRO doing human viral challenge studies, making challenge viruses are a key part of what we do because we absolutely need them. They're a vital tool to be able to conduct the challenge models. So we have a long history of doing challenge virus manufacture, both in rhinovirus, RSV, influenza, and SARS coronavirus. So this is just another update on an influenza panel that we needed bespoke for this specific client. So hVIVO are considered world experts in doing this. I think this has been epitomized by the fact we were asked to be the lead authors on a document, for a guidance document of how to manufacture challenge agents in collaboration with the Wellcome Trust and HICVAC. And we've utilized that expertise and brought that forward for this contract here today too.
And Alex, how does hVIVO's lab services actually contribute to this contract?
Yes, that's a good question. So the laboratory services at hLab, they provide a lot of services for phase 1 to phase 3 research. So that's a lot of virology research assays as well as immunological assays. So these are many of them bespoke assays that we've developed for our clients and validated to full GCP to be employed on those studies. But in addition, specifically for this contract, it's supporting challenge studies, which the main assays we tend to use in the challenge studies are the virological assays, so PCR and cell culture, to look at the amount of virus that is shed by those individuals. And that is a key endpoint that is used to assess how the vaccine performs against placebo. And then also the immunological assays, which we use to screen the subjects to make sure that we do get people that are more likely to be infected in the first place.
And how significant is the work that hVIVO conducts in terms of finding improved vaccines and therapeutics for influenza?
We believe we play a really important role in the development of new products. So challenge models themselves have a really key important functions. So we're able to offer our clients a way of testing their products in a really expedited way. Furthermore, you're able to answer questions which you really can't answer in field trials very eloquently at all. For example, we often use vaccine challenge studies to test specific vaccines against a very specific challenge strain. If we look at the example of influenza, if you try to do this in field trials, there'd be multiple different strains circulating at the same time, and you really have absolutely no control about what your volunteers on the study are exposed to. So it's really difficult to interpret the data in terms of understanding with great clarity how your vaccine works against a specific strain. Or you have to do really, really large studies until you've, by chance, got enough people of a specific strain. With challenge models, you know exactly the strain you're doing, and you can target it very, very precisely, which means we get data very quick and very expedited manner. So you can use that for vaccines. You can also use that for antivirals. You can get very quick answers for efficacy really early on. So instead of doing really large scale phase 2, phase 3 trials, and then finding out you needed to further optimize the product, you can get a very quick answers in the challenge model or get confidence to move to those larger scale studies really quickly.
Now we see in the news, monkeypox, COVID variants sort of taking over. Why should we not forget about influenza?
That's a good point. All these other viruses are in the news at the moment, but influenza has been around for many centuries and it's not going to go away. We know influenza has pandemic potential. It's caused pandemics in the past and it will cause pandemics again in the future. So we do need better vaccines, and we need better antivirals to help treat it. So the vaccines we have at the moment are okay, but they work only against the specific strains they're designed. So if the virus mutates, we need a new vaccine. If there's a new pandemic version of the virus, we need a completely new vaccine. And in that period of time that it takes to develop that vaccine, we could be seeing huge mortality and also deaths. So great research is still needed to be done in influenza to develop new vaccines and antivirals to better combat it and be more prepared for the next influenza pandemic. And that's where challenge models really have an important role to play, because they can answer very specific questions very quickly in an expedited manner.
Well, Andrew, Alex, thank you very much for your time today. Great to speak to you as always.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.